Chapter 17, The Whole Truth. Morning of your conduct hearing, you and Inez sit at the kitchen island as you push your cereal around with your spoon. Thanks for letting me stay. It's bad enough Drew and I had to be separated, but at least I didn't have to move into a stranger's room. Yeah, of course. And with any luck, you'll be back in your own bed after today's hearing. How much luck are we talking about here? Should I plead my case, get a lawyer, prepare a speech? I'd feel more in control if I just knew what to expect. Well, as someone who's been on both sides of a conduct hearing, I think I can help with that. She grabs the salt and pepper shakers, holding them up for you to see before positioning them in the center of the table. You and Drew will be going before the conduct board, which is made up of Townsend and 2 student class leaders. As she speaks, she singles out a large serving spoon and 3 smaller forks before setting them directly opposite the shakers. Edwin will ask questions, and the board will take the answers into account along with your academic standing, prior conduct offenses, and Edwin's account before deciding if you two are at fault. Then we should be okay, right? My grades aren't great, but I haven't been in trouble before, and they wouldn't have made Drew an RA if they didn't think he was fit. And if Edwin so much as breathes wrong in our direction, I'll tell the board everything I know about him. I appreciate the fire, but Edwin doesn't dress like a junior accountant for nothing. He does it to preserve his image. What does that have to do with anything? Are you kidding? Optics are everything. The board may not say it, but they'll definitely be looking at your overall appearance to decide what and who to believe. She looks up and down, taking in your outfit. And while your outfit might say, "I'm no problem, child," it doesn't really have the gravitas that it could. Considering I lost custody of my closet, I'm gonna have to settle for whatever's available. This is all I managed to pack before I left the suite. I think I might just have the thing. You follow her into her room and watch as she disappears into her closet. Seconds later, she pulls out a delicate lace and blouse and smart pencil skirt. Wow, this would be perfect, but I couldn't. If I hadn't swapped shifts with Edwin so I could go on a date, you and Drew wouldn't be in this position. Consider it my apology. You slip them on as you turn to face the mirror. Inez zips you up. It's perfect. You're telling me the board will never be able to tell there's a party animal underneath, but you should let me stream out some of the wrinkles and let roll it, and you hold your arms out wide to let her work her magic. Whatever you feel like doing to help, I'm all for it. As Inez sits to work, you take a deep breath. What is the worst that can happen today? Suspension, expulsion? Worst case scenario, you could end up with a pretty hefty fine, but I wouldn't count out the possibility of a mark on your record. The rest of her sentence is lost on you as you mentally calculate the scarce remains of your bank account. A fine? I can't pay that. I spent the last of my scholarship money on concert tickets for Drew. Not long ago, his name was enough to warm you from head to toe like a shot of brandy, but now you can't help but feel a little icy. None of this would have happened if Drew had just said how he felt. Sometimes that's easier said than done. Well, the problem is Drew hasn't said anything. Hasn't he? Think back to who Drew was when you met him. Can you honestly say he's still that guy? Well, he has opened up to me a lot about his past, family, dreams. Does he do that with every girl he sleeps with? I can tell you for a fact he doesn't. Pride swells in your chest, only to be quickly stomped out by reality. But if we can talk about all that without him ever once saying how he feels about me, then has he really changed? I've known Drew for a while. I can say for sure, yes. He used to parade around campus, keeping everyone at arm's length, wow. He'd go casual with a girl. 6 months later, she still wouldn't know a thing about him. He changed for you because he loves you, and he just has a hard time saying it because... She trails off, and you feel your frustration mount. Inez, I know you're holding out on me. Because it's not really my business to share. I've been waiting for him to, but he's taking a sweet time. Really? I should wait to hear from Drew. Or need to know now. Alright, you asked for it. Inez pulls out her phone and scrolls for a few moments before showing you a picture of a much younger Drew with his arm around a girl with a familiar face. It's a girl from the article about Drew's family. What was her name? Oh, Audrey Cole. Drew and Audrey were best friends growing up. Their mothers met when they were both pregnant, and they were inseparable. Audrey's father even donated to Drew's mother's judicial campaign. You study the photo more closely, taking in the way they look so happy together, and anxiety crystallizes in your stomach. Okay, but that arm around her waist in the picture makes it look like they're a lot more than friends. That's because they were. The way Drew explained it, Audrey was his first everything. But they hid the relationship from their parents. Why? Wouldn't them getting together just be the logical next step in their perfect world? Drew's parents have a very particular idea of how his life should go. They control everything, and Drew didn't want them meddling. Drew can't tell me he loves me because of his parents? Is that what you're getting at? They ran off perfect Audrey, so how could I possibly compare? Holy insecurity, Batmans, of course not. Then can you tell me? I'm going insane over here. I will if you just listen. Inez sighs, steeling herself. When Drew's mom found out, she used Drew as a pawn to shore off campaign money from Audrey's father. Since when do wealthy families shake each other down for cash? You have no idea. The Youngs aren't any family, and the Coles aren't regular rich. Generations old money made Mr. Cole richer than Mr. Monopoly. And sitting on the beach gave Judge Young power she was willing to wield on their behalf. But he didn't start playing ball until everyone found out they were dating. Exactly. From then on, it was keep Audrey happy so we can stay in Cole's good graces. What did Drew's parents expect him to do? Marry her so they could keep their precious cash cow? You're incredulous, but Inez is silent. You freeze. Please tell me Drew's not married. It didn't go quite that far, but Audrey was falling pretty fast. Drew was desperate for his parents' love and attention. Then Jed Young saw an opportunity. She told Drew it was time to confess his love to Audrey. Made a huge spectacle out of it. Inez trails off and you wave your hands agitated. And what? She broke Drew's heart? She shattered it into a million pieces, causing Drew to vow to never love again. She messed him up so bad he's completely incapable of love? This isn't a soap opera. No, just some things are worse than soap operas. I know, but what else could have ended such a perfect-looking relationship? Drew didn't really love her. Judge Young told him that he would grow to love her, and he never did. Not more than puppy love, and not the way Audrey loved him. Oh my God, that's awful. It came clean, ended things shortly after, and but next thing he knew, Audrey was in France on an extended study abroad trip. Poor thing was probably humiliated. I know I would be. The night and the train still burns through, and you force it to the back of your mind. Where's she now? No clue. She won't respond to Drew, and worse, her dad stopped funding Drew's mom, so Judge Young has been riding his ass ever since. All because he told the truth? I had no idea. Judge Young was so twisted. The pushiest my mom has ever got was insisting I invite any new friends over for dinner. She had this thing about knowing who I was with. Nah, that's nothing compared to being a living puppet. No wonder Drew doesn't like talking to them. I think that was the day Drew realized how little his mom thought of him. It was really a dark time in his life. I bet. Lost his best friend and his family all at once. You look more closely at the picture, and all of a sudden you can see that Drew's smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. He told me that all of that under the strictest of confidences, but I think you deserve to know. He's not holding out on you out of spite. He just doesn't want to hurt anyone else. And he also probably doesn't want to get hurt himself. thank you for telling me. I get why he wouldn't take saying those words lightly. But it's hard to stomach when I can see it written all over his face, you know? I do. She glances at her phone, eyes widening as she takes in the time. But one thing's for sure, if you don't get your ass to the hearing right now, you're gonna have bigger problems. Get going. You leave her room with a sigh, head spinning, and no plan as to how you're going to get yourself out of this. In the admin building, you step out of the elevator to find Drew waiting in the hallway, eyes staring distantly as he sits on a bench. Hey. Hey. At the sound of his voice, your heart races, and suddenly you burn with the need to see him and have him see you. But he never looks up. Silence washes over you. Are you really not going to say anything to me? As a condition of the ongoing investigation, you're not permitted to speak nor engage in activities with Miss Anissa St. James. Violation in accordance will result in... I know what the email said, Drew. And you already know that I can't say anything to you. His eyes stay glued to some faraway spot, and you resist the urge to walk into his eye line as your frustration builds. Since when do you care about rules? Since I'm the one who got us in this mess in the first place. If I had cared more about the rules, we wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. Drew, look at me. You march over and slip a finger beneath his chin, physically turning his head to face you. All things considered, there's nowhere else I'd rather be. Consequences be damned. He stands, his eyes trailing a burning path down your body. You may dress like her, but you're definitely not the same baby bird I met a few months ago. Then he clears his throat and steps away, returning his attention to the void. That's why I should have never gotten involved with you. His words sting, and inside you feel a frustration bubble over. Then why did you? I don't know. Liar. The sharpness in your voice clearly takes him by surprise, but you don't stop. Instead, you press on, taking a step closer. You got involved with me because you liked me. And he said, you saw what no one else did. You teased it out of me, and now I can't go back. I don't want to go back. Now is not the time or place for this conversation. No, the time was on the train when I told you I loved you. And I told you I can't. Despite his insistence, Drew closes the gap between you, and you feel your whole body tense as his eyes flick to your mouth. I can't just say that, Anissa. The air around you is as thick as both of you. Breathe heavily. And after days of not having him near, you can't help but crave him. Oh, girl, you are literally in the hallway of the building. Oh, you're an idiot. Drew all but crashes into you, crushing his lips to yours with emotion he can't put to words. I know that the words mean a lot to you. No, Anissa, you don't know. Then why? His hands move to grip your waist, tugging your hips to his as he backs you into the nearest wall. When he pulls back, he looks like he wants to say something. But instead, he just surges forward again, kissing you feverishly. Groan, half in frustration, half in pleasure. You nip his lower lip, and as Drew makes a surprised gasp, you slip your tongue into his mouth, reveling in the taste of him. His moan vibrates through your mouth as he pulls back to look at you with dark, lustful eyes. I didn't plan for everything to end up this way. This isn't what I wanted. Then what did you want, Drew? Drew's fingers slip around your ass and squeeze. Your pulse throbs hard and heavy between your legs. None of this is a game to me, Anissa. Not now, not ever. No, because I seem to remember a round of, let's take the new girl to a frat party and see what happens. That was different. It was just stupid, harmless fun. To break you out of your shell, and you had fun, too. Is that really all you have to say for yourself? It wasn't a game, except when it was. You kiss him hard, your body white hot as memories of the 1,000 little touches born from that stupid, harmless fun came flooding back. His hands on your waist, his mouth on your neck. Pressed against you, Drew's lips find your ear, and you commit the feeling to memory alongside the others. For someone who doesn't want to play games, you seem to be enjoying this one just fine. Don't pretend you don't know exactly what I mean. His tongue swipes across your balls point, and something between a groan and a sigh escapes you, echoing through the empty hall. Lately, I feel like we're playing emotional tug-of-war, and I don't want to play anymore. He sags against you as your words wash over him, and you push him away. I spent all my time pulling you closer, just for you to fight against me. It would be nice if we were on the same side for a change. You move to slip around him, but Drew catches your arm, pulling your back against your nearly chest. I never asked you to drop the confession on me out of the blue. Fury rises in within you anew. You charge forward, backing him down until his knees hit the bench and he stumbles into the seat. Forgive me for being in touch with my feelings. I'm sorry they were inconvenient for you. They're not inconvenient. I'm just out of my depth, Anise. I don't operate here. I'm the casual guy, because casual doesn't come with feelings. That's bullshit. He grips your hand, yanking you down into his lap. His voice lowers, and he locks eyes with you. There's just this. He presses a searing kiss to your lips, desperate and lingering, like he's afraid you'll stop this whole thing any second, and he needs to make the most of what he has now. Drew. His lips travel down the curve of your neck, worshipping your skin. He may not know how to say I love you with words, but this he knows. Drew, I can teach you. Starting with all the reasons why I love you. His lips pause at the curve of your neck and shoulder, just for a beat before he continues to kiss his way over your clothed shoulder. I love you because you're funny, smart, and you make the most out of wonderful music. Softly, you feel his breath wash over your skin. Don't, Anissa. But, with the hearing due to start any minute, you can't keep any of this down anymore. If it all blows up now, at least you'll know you tried your best. Because you care so much about your friends and making sure everyone's included. He stops moving, face buried in your shoulder. You reach up, gently stroking his hair. Because you always keep me on my toes, and you do the most generous, thoughtful things without wanting anything in return. If you had bothered to just talk to me, you'd have heard what I've been dying to tell you. Not just you, everyone. He pulls up to face you, but you don't stop. I am in love with you, from your stupid smirking face to your careless, left my shoes in the middle of the floor again feet. That was one time. It was many times, actually, but I'm not afraid to say that, because at least it's honest. Now can you please be honest with me? A pained expression flits across his face, and your heart lifts, hopefully. And he's, But before I can finish, the elevator dings its arrival, and you both spring apart, sliding to opposite sides of the bench and smoothing down your clothes. Then the doors open, and Edwin steps out, smiling smugly.
Well, if it isn't the rule breakers, I told you I'd get you.
Yeah, and my little dog, too, if you don't mind. We're in the middle of something, Edwin.
Oh, but I do mind, because this entire interaction is a violation. I should write you up again.
What interaction? We're literally sitting on the opposite sides of a bench. We haven't said shit. Bish. Edwin, there are real resident problems on campus you could focus on, and yet here you are, gloating. Appeal to his better nature. Yeah, no, remember way back when Drew tried that, when he was trying to help him, pick someone up because he was doing a really bad job, and then suddenly Edwin turned on him? Yeah, no, his better nature doesn't exist. Peace of my mind. I hate to ruin whatever delusions of grandeur you're going on about in that head of yours, but everyone hates you. For a moment, shock crosses his face, and then...
Heavy is the heart that wears the name tag, but I'm not here to be liked. Look how well that turned out for you two. It's time to face facts. Not only is Drew going down, but you're going to help me make it happen.
Excuse me? Before you can question him, a student worker props open the conference room door and Edwin waltzes in with a smile. The board members take their seats along with one side of a long table, and as you and Drew sit on the opposite side, you lean towards him. This is gonna be fine, right? As long as we stick together, let me do all the talking. Before you can protest, Mr. Townsend clears his throat. Mr. Smith, you've been here enough to know how this goes. Why don't you proceed?
We're here today to review the conduct violations of Drew Young and Anissa St. James. Violations that include on Mr. Young's end, neglecting duty of care, throwing an unapproved dormitory party, inappropriate relations with a resident.
I'm sorry, all these charges seem to be aimed at Mr. Young. Yes, is Miss St. James not an equal party in this conduct hearing? Drew isn't the only one to blame. I had nothing to do with anything. You look over at him, stunned, but Mr. Townsend holds up a hand, waving you both off. Miss St. James, Mr. Young, unless you want to lose this hearing before it's even begun, I suggest you speak when spoken to. And no other time. I agree with the ma'am. Yes, sir. You all look to Edwin, and he shoots you a grin that unsettles you.
Miss St. James is an equal party, but I don't feel like she should be.
What?
The way I see it, Anissa's the victim, being roomed with Drew. She was a straight-A student with a sterling permanent record. Someone like her would never have thrown a party in the dorms if it weren't for Drew's influence. Drew took her, corrupted her into a partying rule floater.
Excuse me? Mr. Townsend, if I may. Everyone's gaze swings to you, and as he waves you on, you feel Drew's thigh brush against yours as he mouths. What are you doing? Trying to save your asses. Mr. Townsend, members of the board. Edwin is abusing his power. It's obvious Edwin has it out for both me and Drew. And this hearing is this way of using this power for his own little vendetta.
That's absurd. And I might remind you, this trial is about you and Mr. Drung, not me.
Edwin's basically stalked us all year trying to catch us breaking a rule.
That shouldn't be an issue if you're not breaking the rules.
We didn't know anything about that party. What we do know is that Edwin's a creep. Maybe, but do you have any proof? Not exactly. Let's move on then, Mr. Smith.
As an RA, Mr. Young should be held to a higher standard. I can't prove it, but I believe he has other infractions. And I would like to move that Anissa be absolved of responsibility here in exchange for her time as a witness against Mr. Young.
Wait, what? You can't do that. Mr. Townsend, can he do that? No. A wave of relief washes over you, and then... But I can, and since it sounds like our RA program needs to clean house, I will. Miss St. James, you can either take the pardon and help us telling us what you know, or we can proceed with this hearing, and I'll warn you, I'm inclined to err on the side of caution and go with Mr. Smith. Mr. Townsend, this is clearly a fishing expedition. You push your shoulders back, trying to let the professionalism you're displaying through your outfit come across through your words. Edwin said it himself, he has no evidence of any additional wrongdoing. And even if there was, how can he be sure if I know about it? You've got to see this for what it is. You're right, Miss St. James.
She is?
I am? I mean, of course I am. You're clearly treating this hearing with a seriousness it deserves. Because of that, it'll allow some time for evidence gathering. But I see you're here on scholarship, Miss St. James. You recall the agreement you signed, I assume? Yes, but what does that have to do with anything? A mark on your record from the conduct office would make you ineligible. Governor, I suggest you use your time wisely. And with that, the hearing heads into a recess. Edwin follows the board members out the door with his head held high and his smile goading. Only once the two of you are alone in the boardroom does Drew finally turn to you. And you say you have to take his offer. I won't be the reason you lose your scholarship. And I won't be the reason you lose your RA position. If I have to go back under my parents' thumb, I'll never forgive myself. Drew shakes his head, looking pained, and your heart aches. Wish this stupid party never happened. Under the table, you put your hand on top of Drew's, threading your fingers through his to give him a quick squeeze. We'll figure something out together, but I've gotta say, not your finest work. Anise, I told you I had nothing to do with the party. A party doesn't just throw itself, Drew. Okay, let me... Jesus Christ. It's been days and you still haven't reported your phone missing, let alone figured this one out? Idiot. Okay, something's not right here. And we've got until this hearing restarts to figure out what it is. Which is basically next chapter. Without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And down the description, plenty of things to check out there. Without further ado, leave a comment telling me what you think. But I'll say this, she's an idiot. No, seriously, she's an idiot. So her phone, like, come on, it's missing. Unless that's gonna be the entrapment, right? She does like a phone locator or something, right? And oh, look at that! Edwin has my phone. Ta-da! Look, Edwin did this all along. That's the only thing I can think of. Aside from that, yeah, no, this is, you know how it is. You know how it is with Pixelberry. It's all just illusion of choice. Pretty much I feel like the book will be ending around chapter 18 or 19. It seems they're quickly finishing this book, so yeah, that's about it. I'd say probably 19 is a median, 20 at the latest, 18 at the earliest. But yeah, no, this chapter was hurried quite along with even all the diamond choices, so yeah. Peace out.